Dear ancestors, what would you have me receive about my journey today? The road is a lot more challenging than you thought, and not in the ways that you thought it would be. It's not the logistics because you can figure that out. It's not the learning because all the lessons are there for your taking. What's difficult is what cannot be seen. It's the part of you that calls out. What is happening to you and your journey is what has been happening to us for generations. We think too little of our own voice, so we are quiet. But, dear Nook, the darkness is the place from which the light springs forth. This is the essence of your journey. To claim your voice, to remember, to heal.
To say that this last year of my journey as a Filipino-American creative has been hard would be an understatement. It's been brutal. Everything hurt. Everything felt like an offense. Stop. Everything felt 10 times harder than it normally would. Fuck. That wasn't supposed to happen. I'm gonna clean this shit up. To say it was a lack of energy or a lack of desire would be incorrect. For the very first time in my life, I realized I had burnout. Typically, I would have given up. Typically, I would have thrown in the towel. Not this time. This time, I knew I was coming back. This time, I knew it was not over. This right here. You are on a unique path and you are doing the work. So I'm practicing a lot of patience with myself, giving myself a lot of grace, because that's a part of recovering from burnout, is chilling out and seeing what comes up and waiting for the next wave of creative inspiration to take me away. And now, in 2025, as I'm entering the 4th year of this YouTube journeying thing, the time has come to get back up. The journey doesn't stop just because you may have gone too far. Coming home to rest can be just as important and just as potent as going out there. And changing things up so that they work for you can be the most courageous thing you can do, especially when you're living your life purpose to the very fullest. So here are the lessons that I've learned, the gatherings, if you will, that I've collected over this last year of slowing down because of burnout. These are the things that I want to bring forward with me into the 4th year of Filipino-American creative. I also want to share these things with you because I just want to offer you a bit of hope and compassion if you are also going through something similar, where you're dealing with burnout and you're having to recover from living your biggest life and your wildest dreams, because sometimes it does get hard. It's not always rainbows and unicorns, and I want you to know you are not alone. First lesson that I learned is do things differently. I realized after burning out that I just couldn't do things the way that I had been doing them before. It just wasn't sustainable. Editing, posting, traveling, promoting, all of the things that I was doing was leading to me burning out all of my energy. And I had to come to terms with the idea of doing things differently than what it was that I thought I had to do in order to be successful. I was told to be consistent. I was told to post every week. I was just like, this is ridiculous. I can't do this anymore. But it took a lot of courage to let that go and to embrace this idea that I'll do things according to when they work for me and when they best serve me. It's somebody else's pace, somebody else's rules. And if you continue to do things over and over and over again and they're not working for you, and then you keep doing them thinking that you're going to get a different result, that's called insanity. So just stop the insanity. Do things differently. Do them your way. This work means way too much to just quit. I'm onto something much bigger than myself. You know, when I first started this channel, I thought I was just going to report on all of the great things that all of these Filipinos are doing around the world. And little did I know that doing that learning and going out there and experiencing it for myself would drastically change me and my perspective on the world and what it means to be a Filipina American creative. This is something that I can't just be like, oh, I'm tired, okay, I'm giving up, okay, bye. You know, like if you just feel that impulse to keep going and realize that it's because it's bigger than you, then it's something that you just need to do, and to trust that the difficult parts, the times when you aren't pursuing it full force, are just as important as the other times. I am also learning to get out of my own way, because when I think that I have to do it a certain way and I'm just going and not realizing me pushing so hard is actually getting in my own way, it's time to just stop, to stop doing that. The way that I get out of my own way is to remember my why, because when things get really hard, it's easy to think, oh, I'll just give up and it's fine, I'll just let it go. But if you're compelled by something that's a part of something bigger and you lose your way, the best way to find your way back is to remember why you're there in the first place and why you're doing it. Release distractions, also known as create boundaries. For the most part, people are supportive, but sometimes there are people who don't understand what you're doing, or they have something negative to say because they have a different opinion, or they think that you should be doing things differently than what it is that you're doing. And sometimes that advice just lands wrong, especially when you're burned out and you're tired and everything hurts and you're just like, I don't know what to do. When somebody comes in and is trying to help you, sometimes that's like the worst time for them to come in and try to help you. When you're doing the heavy lifting of living your dreams, sometimes you just got to create space in order to be in that place where it's hard and where it's difficult and where it's challenging for yourself. And that means letting go sometimes of relationships or people, or just putting a pause button on people's access to you and just saying, you know what, thanks so much, love you, but I'm gonna go into my little area and figure myself out first and then come back to you. Because if you're already so burdened by what it is that you caused, which is your own burnout, having other people there to like add to that, it's not the greatest thing. So creating space and creating boundaries is a very helpful thing to do in those moments. And along with creating space from distraction comes also the idea of creating space so that you can sit with your feelings. Because I've been doing this a lot, especially the last month or so, I've been doing a lot of crying. It's not because I'm sad necessarily, but sometimes it's just because I'm like, wow, the beauty and the enormity of what it all means is just so much. And then I have to like allow that to come into my psyche and my thoughts, and I have to integrate, because I'm so good at doing in order to avoid how I feel about something or what I think about something. If I'm constantly doing, I don't allow myself the time to feel if I'm tired, or to feel if I'm being inauthentic, to feel if I'm actually really connected to the people and the experiences that are happening around me. And so now that I'm giving myself the time and the space to really bring those two things together, the doing and the feeling and the thoughts and the opinions, it's making everything that I've been through so much more meaningful. That's when the lessons come in. That's when the learning happens, is in that space between the doing and the doing. You know? Also, by sitting still, it allows me to think about what it is that I could do different so that I don't burn out again, and how I can slow down and do less of something that doesn't fully serve me and more of the few things that really do bring in the meaning behind all of this. And finally, the last gathering that I've collected this past year is to make it yours. If you're on a mission and you're living on purpose, it's going to look vastly different from anything anybody has ever seen or experienced or witnessed, because it is yours. You are doing what feels right for you, and nobody can dictate that. Here's the thing with making dreams come true. It is your path to define. No one's done what you're doing the way that you're doing it. If you think about the people who have redefined our world and who are super successful, many of them were called crazy until they were called geniuses. Trust yourself in that process, that your path is unique to you. And that's why this card that I got is so timely and so perfect, this reflection that we should take a moment to appreciate the path that we're on, the uniqueness of the path that we're on, because that is the work. That's what's going to change the world. Have patience and allow yourself to keep walking, even if it means to slow down, even if it means to have a moment for yourself. Because it's always going to be there for you. It's just a matter of how you get there. And the journey is everything. The journey is what changes you and what makes this whole experience magical. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for being there. Year 4. If you've been with me from the very beginning, thank you, thank you, thank you. Maraming salamat po. Thank you so very much. It really means a lot. Every single person who has joined me from the past, who is joining me today and joining me in the future, your presence makes all the difference. And I'm so grateful that you're there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Paalam. Goodbye.